The voice of reason is gradually prevailing in the controversies surrounding the Naira redesign policy of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN. The governor of the Apex Bank, Godwin Emefiele, has finally appeared before the committee of the House of Representatives, which summoned him over the confusion caused by the Naira redesign and exchange of old notes with new one. The ad hoc committee, which is chaired by the majority leader, Alhassan Ado Doguwa, hopes to use the opportunity to reach an agreement that will favor Nigerians. This was the position of Babajide and Mojeed Jamiu when the issue came up for discussion on the program on Monday. Let's take a listen.
These are the representatives of the people. When they came up with the earlier directive, people, these same representatives of the people, resisted it. They said, no, this will inflict pain. This will put POS guys out of business. Then that was rescinded in a way. Yes, the CBN has autonomy, but it does not have the monopoly of knowledge, especially about how its policies will affect our people negatively. The CBN governor can't say because he has the support of the president, then disobey the National Assembly. Emefiele has to go and face these people. Explain what you want to do in detail to them. Explain in detail, because these are the same people that if today you want to appoint a CBN governor, they have to approve.
Yeah.
So you can't treat them with levity. You can't treat them like they do not exist. No, you can't do that. Go before them, explain why you want to do this. Some of them too have passed through the banking system. They have experience. They can come up with ideas that can even help you.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's the point I'm making. I stand to be correct. I've not seen anywhere in the world where you change currency and you give people such a short time ceiling as we have done. And that is why people believe that this is meant to inflict pain. So, and the representatives of people are saying, extend. I'm sure he thought that, okay, when he gets there, oh, they are going to, but it doesn't matter. Once you've been
not going to pay you now.
Once you've been told to come, you have to face them. The law backs them. The law says that they can invite you. They can invite even the president, they can invite him.
It cannot be treating the lawmakers with disdain and expect them to keep quiet. I mean, you are not only responsible to the president. We have three arms of government. That's why we have checks and balances. The legislature acts as a check and balance, and they have their oversight functions over that of the executive. That's why a president cannot spend money without approval from the National Assembly. Even the money the CBN is spending was appropriated by the National Assembly. So I see no reason why it should not cut them and go to them and explain.
Going to the president and giving extension does not replace the summon that was issued.
The worst that can happen is if they don't like the way he answers them, they can pass a vote of no confidence and he can appeal it and beg them, but not for you to abstain. It's like an insult. It's like you are hiding something.
So go yourself. Go and face them yourself.
Thank you for staying with us. It's Journalist Hangout. Babajide, I'll say congratulations. We mounted that pressure. We started from last week, and Emefiele has bowed down. Emefiele has not only extended the date, he appeared before the people's representative today, and he apologized.
Yes.
So nobody can be bigger than
No, you can't be bigger
Nigerians.
than the state. You can't be bigger than the Constitution. The law is clear that these guys have the power to exercise their function of oversight. And they were doing that. They were not doing anything outside the law. Whether we like it or not, this House of Reps, led by Femi Gbajabiamila, you may not like his face. You may not like his seemingly unkempt manner. But they fight for the Nigerian people. You can't take that away from him. Going back to even during the time of COVID, when largely in our country there was blackout, and that actress came out to say what's going on in our country, why is there so much blackout, and our people are suffering, this and that. It took Babajide to invite her. This is the way that this House of Rep Speaker intervenes in matters that affect our people. You know? So we cannot sit back and watch that kind of person who is fighting for you and I being humiliated and disrespected by an appointee of government. This is why some of these positions that we take, we are convinced that it is in the interest of the ordinary man. It's in the interest of the ordinary man. If we say, look, you have this thing that you are doing that you imagine that politicians will suffer, you are deceiving yourself. One of the most honest politicians that I've seen in this country is Ali Ndume. Ali Ndume said, see, if I need money, they will bring it to me. It is the ordinary man that will suffer. This is the point that many people don't understand.
Exactly.
The people who are going to parties to demonstrate their indiscipline by spraying money, when in fact they are supposed to go to jail every time they spray money and disrespect our currency in the way they are doing. They are getting away with it. How are they able to lay their hands on the money? Because they will do deals with bank staff. They will do deals with CBN staff. So if those ones, a lot of them non-entities, if they can go to that length to lay their hands on brand new money, you are telling me that politicians, some of them who have shares in these banks, I know some of them who have shares in this bank, some of them even own banks. You want me to believe that they will look for money that they will not find it?
Let's just take you to Abuja earlier today when the CBN governor attended that summon.
Aisha, we were briefed very adequately about the need for us, for the economy, to operate a cashless society. So no one of us here is in doubt that the cashless policy of your own bank and the government is of course a good policy. We will see how we can partner with you to promote policies that are good. But when policies are now coming on in the eyes of too much storms in the face of the people, storming the economy, shuttling agriculture, stopping transportation, left, right, and center, with our constituents crying out, then of course we are under moral obligation to seek clarifications from you, to hear from you.
As well as its efficacy in the conduct of monetary policy are some of the hallmarks of a great central bank. And we have done our best working and with your support and your cooperation to make sure that we do our work. And today I think I must need to give credit to our colleagues at the Central Bank of Nigeria for the excellent job that they have been doing in support to redesign or do some form of changes to its currency. The reason is because the central bank has to be in a position from time to time to have firm control of money supply in the country. Unfortunately, we have not had the luxury of carrying out this important aspect of our mandate in the last almost 19 years. 19 years. To the extent that I'd like to say this. In 2015, currency in circulation was 1.4 trillion naira. October 2022, currency in circulation had risen to 3.23 trillion naira. More than double in 7 years. Very, very unfortunate that it more than doubled in 7 years. Out of the 3.23 trillion naira, more than 2.7 trillion naira were outside the banking system. More than 2.7 trillion naira is held in people's homes. what that does is that it makes our mandate of monetary policy very difficult. When we are not in control, out of 3.23 trillion, what we see only in the banking system is just about 500 billion. There is no how our work, which you, the lawmakers, has made a law for us to carry out. Our work cannot be effective. And that is the reason, and permit me, I will continue to say, and thank the President that in 19 years, we've had an opportunity to carry out this important aspect of our mandate. We are grateful because we are grateful to
Mr. Godwin Emefiele there, that's the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. He attended the...
Yeah. While it is true that our laws empower the Central Bank of Nigeria and the governor to formulate monetary policies, but Emefiele needs to remember that he's not an emperor. And I think the House of Reps has been able to make that point to him. As Speaker Gbadagbiamila is my hero in this particular situation. Of course, Gbadagbiamila has always stepped out for Nigerians. I still remember, it's still fresh in mind, the role he played at resolving the ASU strike. If the House of Reps or the Speaker had not insisted that the man could be arrested, maybe he wouldn't have appeared today. So he appeared, and I also like the fact that he was reminded, the Speaker reminded him that the grace period that the CBNs will be given after the expiration of the deadline, the 1 week grace period,
10 days,
would not also make sense. That the CBN Act says even months after, people can still go and deposit their old notes in the bank. Well, for me, I am not satisfied even with this deadline extension. It's better than nothing, but maybe I'm even suspecting that maybe further extension.
Yes.
You see, this thing is, it would have been easier if these old notes are phased out gradually. So one day we just wake up and we don't see them anymore. That's the way it should be.
Today is 31st. If that deadline had not been extended by today, the old currency would have been something of the past. It would have just been something you put in your library and you tell your grandchildren that this is what we used to spend at a point in time in Nigeria. Now it has been extended and Nigerians are still pushing for more extension so that they can have access.
Yes, you know how difficult it is now. Let's tell ourselves the truth.
I sent you a video earlier. Did you see people struggling to enter the bank?
I've not even opened.
Oh, tug of war.
Yeah, no, even today,
the bank.
You know the irony of this matter. The things, the inefficiencies that Emefiele would not admit to. People were asked to bring their money. They took their monies to the banks. Now, they can neither collect both old notes nor the new notes. But you told them to bring these notes. Now you came up with the idea, no, you cannot give them new notes across the counter. That it has to be through the ATMs. Because Emefiele, I don't know if he has an idea of how many communities in our country we have banks. It doesn't appear because those who are saying, look, Northerners will be the ones to suffer the most. They are not far from the truth. The truth is, so many parts of the North, there are no banks at all.
True.
When the governor of Kano State said that outside the state capital, the metropolis, that there are banks in only 4 local governments out of 44.
As big as Kano.
Yes, the banks are located in the metropolis. Outside of the metropolis, you have just 4 local governments where you have banks. See how big Kano is. See the population of Kano. Officially, at least by the 2006 census, the largest state in Nigeria, having banks in just 4 local governments outside of the state capital. Now, today when I was investigating this issue further, Kaduna to Sokoto is 491 kilometers. It's an 8-hour journey passing through 3 states. There are only 4 communities within that 491 kilometer stretch where you will find banks. 491 kilometers stretching across 3 states. But you will find banks only in Zaria, Funtua, Gusau, and Talata Mafara. Now, Gusau and Talata Mafara is Zamfara State. The whole of Sokoto, North Senatorial Constituency, there is no bank. The people of Isa local government, is located close to the border with Niger Republic. That is the local government of the former governor, Atahiru Bafarawa. When they want to use the bank, they travel from Isa to Shinkafi in Zamfara State. Now, there are 14 local governments in Zamfara. Out of these 14 local governments, you will find that it's only in Shinkafi, Kaurana Moda, Gusau, and Talata Mafara where you will find banks. The late Shehu Kangiwa caused a branch of UBA to be sited in Safe in 1981, just before he died while playing polo. Today, the bank has closed that branch on account of it not being profitable. So you look at, I'm going to this length. We can still talk about that state like Katsina. What we are talking about is true of Sokoto, is true of Katsina. So when people see us talk about the pains this thing will inflict on our people, you can imagine having to travel up to 200 kilometers before you can access a bank.
Or 490-something kilometers and just
4 banks.
4 banks within the stretch. It's like Lagos to Abuja.
Just 4 banks.
4 banks.
4 banks.
All right. Dada, now when you look at the distance GJ was trying to paint and everything, accessibility, and the CBN governor said the money outside of the banking sector, and we're explaining the reason why this situation might occur again.
I think this actually explains the reason you have high volume of cash outside the banking system. Emefiele thinks that people who operate outside the banking system, that majority of them are,
politicians
engaging in money laundering and all sorts. Well, that's possible. That's a fact. But when you have many communities,
no, you can't say majority of them. I don't even agree that majority of them.
No, I didn't say majority. A few of them. Did I say majority?
No, you said majority.
That will have. That's a slip. So a number of them would, of course, get involved in money laundering and all of that. But when you have many communities, lacking banks or any financial institutions,
around
and they are farmers, they are traders, no bank is close to them. They have to keep their cash. When they do business, they make profit, they keep the cash at home. Then they go back again to, use the money for their...
Multiply
the... So what is concerned probably should also be how to get banks to how to encourage, banks, how banks should establish branches in some of those places. Because if people are doing businesses, then they need banks. So to now say that, to complain that much of the cash in circulation goes out, is outside the banking system, it's not enough for him to just complain. Now, what they are doing is not hurting the politicians, like we said earlier. It's hurting the common man. a lot of people do not have access to the new notes. Even when people are returning the old notes to the banks, they can't access the new notes.
Even
the old notes, they are not giving people money.
In Lagos.
In this place today, I went to Access Bank on this street. Not one of their ATMs was dispensing cash. People were angry. Not one. This is verifiable. Just down the street.
You are going through a lot.
Just down the street. And it's a very big branch. No, not one.
And Julie, have you noticed, if you are not spending cash and you want to effect a transfer,
it's also difficult. That's the point.
Very difficult.
I tried to move money from my Access Bank to my UBA because that's the one for which I have an ATM. I couldn't. And I went into a bank. If I couldn't do it, how will I be able to do it on my phone?
I experienced a failed transaction and I went to a bank to complain. The security man thought I came for money and he was telling me, and then I said, no money, no money. I said, I didn't come for money. I came to complain about failed transaction. The money is not available. Cash is not available. Meanwhile, people are getting this, some people are getting this, spending at parties, racketeers. Now, this is happening because of the way CBN is handling this matter. CBN is to take the blame.
No, you know, if not for the indecent haste, which is the reason many people, the YPP presidential candidate said this is political. Shehu Sani too said this is political. Because this is something that ideally is over a period of 6 months that you can do this kind of thing. Once they bring the old notes, make sure it doesn't come out of the banking system, then give them new notes. What is the deadline? This kind of ceiling. Look at the tension in the north because of it. That the president's visit to Kano had to be postponed until people got wind that, okay, the extension had happened, then the tension came down. The president was able to come to Kano.
Gbenga is calling us from Abuja.
Evening, the guests there and Gide and Ayo.
Go ahead, please.
This policy is good, but the implementation was not well thought out. This has caused embarrassment to the president and the government of APC. And when Bola Tinubu, the incoming president, was talking about it, people are saying because they want to use money to buy votes. You can see now that his outcry has now brought this relief. Because look at yesterday, the president was embarrassed in Kano because the people felt that this thing is against us. Many people in Kano do not keep their money in the bank.
We have to leave it there, Gbenga. Our time is fast spent. Thank you for your contribution, Gbenga. Gentlemen.
So made the point that many people in Kano don't use the banks, and they have to show their anger. It's a fleeting pain on people.
They're traders.
Yes,
a lot of
traders.
Big international markets.
You know, in those days, I used to talk about a man in single market who hired people, their duty is just to count money. He wasn't using the bank. He wasn't using the bank. But I never even knew that time this kind of thing would happen. But that was the situation.
Paul Dada, thank you for your contribution. And BKO, thank you for always being there. And